Hey, just stop for a second. I need you to actually think about this. Out of every video on the internet right now, out of millions of options, out of every recommendation and trending clip and rabbit hole you could have gone down today, you ended up here. Why? I mean that seriously. Why this video? Why this moment? Most people would say the algorithm, and yeah, sure, maybe. But here's the thing about Joseph Murphy, and I only started understanding this after reading his work pretty obsessively. He would say the algorithm isn't the real answer. The algorithm is just the how. The real question is why you were drawn to click in the first place. Because something made you curious. Something made you stop scrolling. And if Murphy taught me anything, it's that feeling, that little pull of curiosity, is worth paying attention to. So before we go anywhere, I just want to say I'm glad you're here. And by the end of this video, I think you're going to understand why that matters more than you might expect right now. Let me take you back a few years. I was in this weird financial limbo that I think a lot of people know, but nobody really talks about. I wasn't in crisis. I wasn't behind on rent or maxing out credit cards, but I wasn't comfortable either. I was in that exhausting middle place where you're technically okay, but you're doing mental math every single time you spend money. Every coffee, every dinner out, every unexpected bill. There's this low-level anxiety humming underneath everything. In the frustrating part, I was working hard. I was doing the things you're supposed to do, but nothing was really moving. It felt like I was on a treadmill, putting in effort, but not actually going anywhere. A friend of mine, someone who I'd always respected for being pretty level-headed and practical, handed me a copy of Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind and said, just read it. Just try what he says for a week. And I'll be honest with you, my first reaction was skepticism. Like the polite version of, this is probably nonsense. Because I'd seen stuff like this before. The vision boards, the manifestation talk, the universe is sending you money content. And it always felt like it was designed for people who wanted to believe something magical rather than actually do anything. But here's what made me stop and actually give Murphy a real chance. He wasn't a mystic. He wasn't some self-proclaimed guru with no credentials. Joseph Murphy was born in Ireland in 1898, trained to be a Catholic priest, then walked away from that to move to America with basically nothing. He became a pharmacist in New York. Then he got a PhD in psychology. Then he spent 35 years obsessively studying the relationship between the human mind and the outcomes people experience in their lives. That's not a guy who stumbled onto a trendy idea. That's a scientist of human behavior who also happened to have deep spiritual roots. In that combination, the rigor of psychology with the openness of spirituality is what made his work different from everything else I'd encountered. So I read the book, and then I tried the method, and things started to shift in ways I genuinely didn't expect. I'm not going to sit here and tell you a giant check appeared in my mailbox. That's not how this works, and I don't want to oversell it. What I will tell you is that my relationship with money, the anxiety, the scarcity mindset, the constant low-level stress started to change. And when your relationship with something changes, the thing itself tends to follow. That's the core of what Murphy was teaching. Murphy figured out that your subconscious mind doesn't really understand time the way you do. It doesn't know someday. It only knows now. So when you vaguely wish for more money, someday, eventually, when things align, your subconscious just files that away as not urgent, not real. But when you get specific, when you give it a deadline, something shifts. Murphy called it creating divine urgency. You're not asking anymore, you're declaring. And here's where it gets interesting. He taught that the universe runs on 7-day cycles, 7 days of creation, 7 notes in a scale, 7 colors in a rainbow. He saw it everywhere, and he built a method around it. A precise 7-day practice that he taught privately to his students, not in his mainstream books, to his closest students. Now, I'm not going to promise you a number. I'm not going to tell you a check is in the mail, but I will tell you what Murphy taught, because even the skeptical part of my brain couldn't argue with the psychology underneath it. Here's the week broken down simply. Monday, get specific. Pick an exact amount. Write it down. Say it out loud to yourself in a mirror. Sounds awkward? Do it anyway. Tuesday, spend 10 minutes in the morning and 10 at night feeling what it would feel like to already have it. Not just picturing it, feeling it. Relief, ease, gratitude. Murphy said emotion is the language your subconscious actually speaks. Wednesday, every hour, just repeat this quietly. Money flows to me. It's already happening. You're not convincing yourself. You're retraining a pattern. Thursday, do one small thing that matches the energy of already having it. Plan a purchase. Write what you're grateful for. Give a little something away. You move energy to attract energy. That's not mysticism. That's physics. Friday, tell no one what you're doing. Murphy was serious about this one. The moment you start explaining it to someone who doubts it, their doubt becomes yours. Protect it. Saturday, write in a journal. Just one line. Thank you for what came to me this week. Write it like it already happened. Sunday, stay alert. Don't force anything. Murphy said the money might come as a refund, a gift, an unexpected call. Just be open. Simple? Yes. Easy? Honestly, keeping the faith through day 4 is where most people bail. Here's the story that got me. Murphy himself was broke in 1950s Los Angeles, living on peanut butter and canned soup. But every single day he visualized a specific house, Hollywood Hills, garden, fountain, a spiral staircase, oriental rugs. He saw it in detail for 5 months straight. Then a lawyer called out of nowhere. A wealthy woman who'd been a listener of his had passed and left him a house in her will. When Murphy walked in the door, it was the exact house. Same fountain, same staircase, same rugs. Now you can call that coincidence. Maybe it was. But Murphy would ask you, what are the odds? And more importantly, what do you have to lose by trying? Remember what I asked you at the very beginning. Why this video? Why this moment? Here's what I think. I think you've been carrying a readiness you might not have fully acknowledged yet. A readiness for something to shift. In that readiness, that quiet, persistent hope underneath the doubt is exactly what Murphy described when he said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You didn't land here by accident, and I don't think you've watched this far by accident either. So here's what I want to leave you with. Just 7 days. That's all. Not a lifetime commitment, not a complete overhaul of everything you believe. Just 7 intentional days using the exact method I walked you through. And then pay attention. Pay attention to what shows up, what opportunities knock, what unexpected things appear. Not because I'm promising you a number, but because I genuinely believe that when you shift the signal you're sending, the experiences that come back to you shift too. If something moves for you this week, a refund, an opportunity, a conversation that opens a door, drop it in the comments. I mean that. I read them. I want to know. Because you found this video today and something tells me that wasn't random. Go start your 7 days.